Welcome friends. Let us continue to study IC engine on my YouTube channel. Kindly like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel. The topics included in today's lecture are components of two-stroke engine and working of two-stroke petrol engine. Now what are the different components of two-stroke engine or the construction of two-stroke engine? So here the construction of two-stroke petrol engine is there because at the top spark plug is provided. So it is a two-stroke petrol engine construction. Now let us see, this is the, you can say, a cylinder, outer body. This is known as the piston, this is the connecting rod, and this one is the closed crankcase. Now you can see this is a opening. Now what is that? It is known as the inlet port, and this is known as the exhaust port. And there is one, you can say, passage connecting between the bottom of the piston to the top of the piston, and that is known as the transfer port. So you can see that in two-stroke engine there are ports, and we have already studied the four-stroke engine. In four-stroke engine there are valves. So what is the difference between port and valve? Yes, there is no any mechanism to open and close the port. Here the port opens and closes due to the movement of piston only, while the valves that are in four-stroke engine opens and closes due to the separate mechanism, or valve opening mechanism is provided into the four-stroke engine for opening and closing the valve. But in a port, that is in a two-stroke engine, ports are provided and the ports open and close due to the movement of piston only. There is no separate mechanism for opening and closing of the port. Now you look at the piston. Here piston is of curved shape, while in four-stroke the piston is flat. So this is another difference between the two-stroke engine and four-stroke engine. So in two-stroke engine, curved piston is provided, while in four-stroke engine the flat piston is provided. So the importance of curved shape piston we will study during the working of two-stroke engine. Now let us study the working of two-stroke petrol engine. Now as it is a two-stroke, it means the cycle is completed in two-stroke of piston. Now let us see, this is the, you can say, working of two-stroke petrol engine, and piston is moving down. As the arrow indicates, piston is moving down, and during the downward movement piston is located at a position such a way that all ports are closed. Inlet port closed, exhaust port closed, and transfer port closed. Clear? And the piston moves down. Now as the piston moves down, you can see exhaust port opens. Now as the exhaust port opens, high pressure hot gases are exhausted. That is, exhaust gas available at the top of the piston is exhausted out through the exhaust port. Now as the piston moves down again, you just seen again piston has moved down. As the piston has moved down, the transfer port opens. Now as the transfer port opens, the fresh air and petrol mixture available at the bottom of the piston now transferred to the above of the piston. Now you look at the shape of the piston. If the shape of the piston is flat like four-stroke engine, then what can happen? That from left hand side, the fresh air and petrol enters, which can directly go into the exhaust port and it can be exhausted. And to prevent it, the curved shape piston is provided. And due to that, what can happen? The fresh air and petrol transferring from below the piston to the above the piston, it directly moves upward, and exhaust gases from the top enters into the exhaust port. But this is not the, you can say, 100% foolproof arrangement. Although due to this arrangement, that is curved shaped piston, some of the fresh air and petrol directly goes into the exhaust port, and due to that its thermal efficiency is less, or it is said that scavenging is not perfect. That is, the exhaust of exhaust gas is not perfect. Now piston has moved down and piston is now at BDC. So two processes going on simultaneously. At left hand side, transfer of fresh air and petrol from bottom of piston to the above piston, and on the right hand side, exhaust gas is thrown into the atmosphere. Now piston is moving up. Now as the piston is moving up, which port will close first? Now you remember, during downward movement, which port was opened first and second? And now during backward movement, that is from bottom dead to top dead center, which port will close first? Yes, the transfer port closed. Again the exhaust port is open, so now transfer has stopped, but the exhaust is continue. Now when the piston is moving upward again, then all ports are closed. Now as the all ports are closed, piston is moving from bottom dead to top dead center, and above the piston, fresh air and petrol is there. So which process can start? Yes, now the compression process will start above the piston. So as the piston is moving up, compression stroke takes place. Compression continue. Piston is moving up, compression continue. Now you look at this. Inlet port open. So the inlet port open below the piston. And as the inlet port open, what will happen? The fresh charge, that is the mixture of air and petrol from carburetor, enters into the crankcase, that is the below the piston. And we can say that there is a suction stroke below the piston and there is a compression stroke above the piston. So piston is moving up. Again the compression above the piston and the suction below the piston continues. Piston is at TDC. So the piston reaches to the TDC. Inlet at the bottom of the piston continue. Now when piston has reached to the TDC, the fresh air and petrol has been compressed to high pressure and temperature. And at the end of the compression, the spark takes place. So this is the spark. So piston is at TDC and spark ignition takes place. And due to the spark, the petrol burns in presence of air and the energy is generated. And now the expansion stroke starts. And during expansion stroke, piston moves from TDC to BDC. Clear? So piston is moving down. So as the piston is moving down, we can say that here there is the expansion stroke above piston and suction stroke below the piston. So expansion continue. Now you look at this. IPC, that is the inlet port closed. So now the fresh air and petrol now stopped entering below the piston, but the expansion continues above the piston. Now expansion continue, expansion continue. Now you can see the condition. Inlet port closed, exhaust port closed and transfer port closed. So we have reached the condition from where we have started. All ports are closed and piston is moving downward. So that is nothing but the working of two-stroke petrol engine. And during two-stroke of petrol, that is you can say bottom to top and top to bottom, we have got the one power stroke. And so it is known as the two-stroke petrol engine. Right? Again, if it is moving down, all ports are closed. Now which port will close? Expansion stopped and exhaust port open. So now the cycle continues. And that is the working of two-stroke petrol engine. Kindly ask your queries in the comment box. Kindly like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you.